Welcome back. In this video we're going to take care of jumping, and therefore we can use the axis called jump. So here there's this jump axis. It's going to work in a very similar fashion as we have seen with the horizontal as well as the vertical axes, but now we're actually going to use the get button down method to get the jump button. So the cool thing is we don't have to specifically define what the jump button is because, well, it is defined in here inside of Unity directly. So let's go over to our scripts, to the player movement script, and we have one big advantage because we have already taken care of this is grounded boolean. Okay, so we already know when we are grounded, and this allows us to only jump if we are grounded, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and in our update method add the following line of code. So we are going to check if the input get button down is going to be jump. So I have to write it with a capital J here, and if the player is grounded. So only if those two things are given, I want to make the player jump. So in here I could do something like velocity y is going to be 10. So now we have a velocity that will push the player up by 10. Okay, so let's test this. Let's save the script and quickly check if we can jump in our game already. And let's check it out. And there we are, we can jump, even though we jump way too high, I would say. So this is something that you can definitely now play around with. You can test what you like most in terms of which jump height you want the player to be able to jump towards. So I can even jump onto this truck here and potentially even jump onto houses, which is super tricky because then our player could easily glitch the game by jumping on top of one of those houses and then, well, get out of the map, so to speak. Okay, and we want to avoid that. All right, so that's something that you definitely need to test every time. So let's get out of it here. And now what I would like to do instead, however, I would like to use a method here which will give me the jump height times the negative gravity. Okay, because gravity is pulling the player down and I want to push the player up. What I'm going to do therefore is I'm going to create a variable so that a game designer could then play around with those values, or we can play around with those values later by using float jump height, and I'm going to use 2f here. So I'm just going to say I want to jump up twice the gravity, but in a slightly more complex manner. Okay, so here we have this gravity, which is created here. But now let's do something similar here where we use the gravity also, but the function is a little more complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that we want to use the square root. So math f.sqrt, which gives us the square root of the jump height multiplied with 2 times the gravity, like so. And 2 times negative the gravity. So jump height multiplied with twice the negative gravity. And from that, we're going to get the square root. So this will give us a rather good velocity, I would say. And the designer can then play around with this jump height value and modify it. Okay, so let's save this script now and test it. So there we are. Let me jump, and you see the jump seems to be all right. So this is not an insanely high jump this time. It looks a lot like a more realistic jump in a game, I would say. So you can jump up this truck here, but only at this point. So you cannot jump to the top of the truck. Maybe you can bug yourself up there somehow, but it doesn't seem like it. Okay, so now we have added our jump feature, and in the next video we're going to look at the animations and setting up the animator. So see you there.